Welcome back to Shirley's Two Cents. So, I want to talk to you about something that has been messing with my head a little bit. Not too bad, but it definitely made me think. It's called the backwards law. And if you've never heard of it, basically says that the harder you chase certain feelings, the further away they get. And it might not be mind blowing to anybody else, but it was interesting that there's a theory for this because I think about it. Wanting to be happy too badly can make you miserable. Trying too hard to be calm can make you anxious. Desperately needing someone's approval can make you feel less secure, not more. And the moment I really sat with this, I realized I do this, but I think we all do this all the time. I turn everything into a project. Even my rest is a project. Even my healing is a project. Even my peace has a to-do list. And maybe you do too. So before we go any further, just a reminder, here in the video, I'm going to share the heart of this with you, but I've also written a fuller companion article with additional research and links and reflection for those who want to go deeper. So as usual, choose your medium and let's get started. So I feel like we live in a culture that tells us we can optimize our way out of almost anything. If you're unhappy, there's a protocol for that. If you're anxious, there's a technique. Not confident enough, there's a course. Not healed enough, there's a workbook. And on the surface, this sounds empowering. And of course we want to grow. And of course we want to feel better. And of course we want to become more whole. But what if the relentless pursuit of feeling better is actually part of what makes us feel worse? Like, what if the constant announcement that I'm not there yet becomes the background noise of our entire lives? There is a law that lines up with this. It's called the backwards law. The backwards law is a paradox. In its most popular modern form, it basically goes like this. Wanting a positive experience too desperately can become a negative experience. Accepting a negative experience can become a positive one. Mark Manson wrote about this and traced the idea back to Alan Watts, particularly in a book called The Wisdom of Insecurity. And the examples are everywhere. The harder you try to feel happy, the more closely you monitor whether you are happy yet. And that monitoring keeps reminding you that you're not. And the harder you try not to feel anxious, the more threatening the anxiety becomes, because now anxiety is the enemy you are at war with. And the more determined you are to appear confident, the more self-conscious you may feel. The more desperately you need someone's approval, the less secure you become in the relationship. And this is called backwards because the effort works beautifully for external goals. You can work harder to finish a report, and you can train to become more skilled. You can practice to get better at something. But you cannot always work harder at falling asleep. You cannot force yourself to feel peaceful on command. You cannot hustle your way into genuine contentment. Sometimes the excessive effort itself becomes the obstacle. Now, I want to be really careful here because this idea can sound like I'm telling you to give up, and I'm not. The backwards law does not mean stop pursuing meaningful goals. It does not mean accept mistreatment. It does not mean avoid discipline or pretend pain doesn't matter, or remain passive and hope everything works out. It is more about releasing the struggle against your present internal reality. Instead of saying, I cannot feel anxious, you might say, I feel anxious right now. I do not like that, but I can stop fighting the fact that it's here. It's that acceptance that can reduce the second layer of suffering. The anxiety about having anxiety, the shame about feeling sad, the panic because you have not achieved peace quickly enough. It is not about giving up. It is about giving the feeling permission to exist without making it a catastrophe. So last week I did talk about Niksen. I don't know if you watched that video or not, but we talked about the Dutch word for doing nothing without a productive purpose. And I think the backwards law explains why Niksen is so difficult for people like me, maybe you too, because the moment I say I'm going to do nothing so I can become more creative, I am no longer fully doing nothing. I have quietly assigned the stillness a job. And Niksen says, let this moment exist without requiring an outcome. The backwards law explains why that may be necessary. The demand for outcome can prevent the outcome. And that brings me to Right braining. So, how does right braining fit into this? Right braining is the practice of carrying a meaningful question through your life without immediately Googling it, asking AI, or borrowing someone else's conclusion. But here is what I am realizing: it is very easy to turn right braining into another performance. I do not just want us to carry a question, I want us to produce the most insightful answer. I want us to be excellent at wondering. I want evidence that our reflection time was productive. And the backwards law exposes that immediately. Because the moment I am pressuring myself to produce insight, I am not actually listening. I am auditioning. So here's how I'm starting to see the relationship. Niksen creates a space. The backwards law helps us stop forcing what should happen inside that space. And right braining teaches us how to pay attention while we live inside it. One makes room, one releases the demand, and one helps us notice what is actually there. Why does this matter? This matters so much right now because we live in what I can call an optimization culture. That's really the only way I can think about it. And we are taught to pursue happiness, healing, productivity, confidence, visibility, success, purpose, and peace. But the relentless pursuit can become a constant announcement that we are not healed enough, not productive enough, not confident enough, not successful enough, or not peaceful enough yet. Self improvement can become quietly self-rejection. And we may begin with, I would like to grow, and eventually hear, I am unacceptable until I do. And that is where the backwards law becomes more than a clever paradox. It becomes a discernment question. At what point does the pursuit of becoming better prevent me from being present with who I am now? I want to say that to you one more time. At what point does the pursuit of becoming better prevent me from being present with who I am right now? So here is the question I want you to carry this week, though. Once you answer that one, what are you trying so hard to feel that the effort may be keeping it away? Do not rush to answer. Notice whether the question makes you defensive. Notice whether you immediately start thinking about how acceptance could make you more productive, because that would be the missing point too. Notice where self-improvement has quietly become self-rejection, and notice what might become easier if you stop demanding that it happen. So I created the practice of right braining to help us pay attention and listen differently. But that's just my 2 cents. Now go create one thought that wasn't given to you today, and I'll see you next time.